Welcome to Human Zoo, the docuseries about all those creatures who seem human but aren't quite. On this episode, Asexuals, valid identity or government experiment gone wrong. Stay tuned to find out. A couple of days ago, an asexual was discovered in this very house. You might have heard the term asexual pop up before. But what are asexuals? And where do they come from? We decided to talk to Dr. Straight Person, who claims to be an expert on asexuals in the comments of a Facebook post. Hello, Doctor. Tell us, what are asexuals?
Asexuals are very peculiar creatures who believe or claim that they don't feel any sexual attraction towards other humans. The first accounts of them were found in an old tomb, which is dated from the ancient Egyptian times. They take up about 1% of our world's population and are mostly female. There are some men who have claimed to be asexual, but we all know that a man who doesn't want sex isn't really a man, is it?
How were asexuals discovered?
Well, we have long known that the ancient Egyptians believed in something called la vena amoris, or the vein of love. But with this tomb that was found in the early 2000s, we discovered a new vein called la vena libidine, or the vein of lust. Now, asexuals say that this proves that there's a difference between love and lust, and that for some, the sexual attraction and the romantic attraction, as they call it, doesn't line up, and that this is a natural occurrence. But of course, I, as a straight person, know better. Because here's the thing: how can something be a natural occurrence when the occurrence in question is not from the natural world at all?
Whoa, let's dial it back a little. These veins, how do they work? Every person is born with two special veins in their body. The vein of lust, which flows from your heart through your right arm into your right ring finger, and the vein of love, which flows from your heart to your left ring finger. Now, what do these veins do? They provide us with the ability to connect to each other. The vein of love, as the name suggests, makes it that we can fall in love with each other. And the vein of lust makes us want to be intimate with the one we love. So, the vein of love makes us fall in love, and the vein of lust makes us want to make love. Get it? Good. Now, how do asexuals come into play here?
Well, asexuals claim that their vena libidine doesn't end in their right ring finger, but in their right middle finger, which is why you can see some of them wearing a black ring around that finger as a kind of code to one another. Now, of course, there are no records of any vena libidines ending in the right middle finger instead of the ring finger, which must mean that it's completely made up.
Don't you think that it could be possible that these records just haven't been found yet?
No, absolutely not.
So, where do these asexuals come from then?
I wondered about this for quite a while, like, where did these asexuals come from? It really was like suddenly everyone on the internet was talking about them, pushing their asexual agenda on everyone. Like, it was almost like a disease, because you have this one person talking about being asexual, and then someone read that and poof, they were asexual too. And then it hit me. What if it is a disease? I started talking to a friend of mine about this, who has a friend who knows someone who works for the government. And he heard that the government was making these AI robots to use as undercover spies.
Now, they were making these robots super realistic, right? They had to look and behave like humans, inside and outside. So they also gave them the vein of love and lust. Now, the story goes that because of an error with one of these robots, the vein of lust ended in their middle finger and not in their ring finger. You see where I'm going with this? So this AI named Avon didn't feel any sexual attraction, and because of that, the government decided that they could not pass as human and wanted to exterminate it. When this Avon heard about this, they escaped, stealing the research on their way out. Now, my theory is that this Avon is using the research to create new asexual people as revenge against the human race.
Because what does sex do? It gets people pregnant. So if you don't have sex, you can't get pregnant. So if more and more people believe that they don't need or want sex, the human race will slowly die out, leaving the planet for robots to rule. And you can see it happening already. It's no coincidence that most of these asexuals are female. They are tricking these poor men into sexless relationships with their charm and their beauty. And claiming that, I'm sorry, it gets me really emotional. They're claiming that a good relationship does not need sex.
Do you think that there's something we can do about these asexuals?
I would say the best thing to do is to stay close-minded and stubborn. We know how the world works, and there's absolutely no way that it could be any different than how we were taught it was in school.
Thank you, Doctor. It was truly a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure was all mine.
After talking with Dr. Straight Person, I'm more aware of the threat that these asexuals are to our world as we know it. I know that things might seem bleak, but there is hope. There are doctors, therapists, and sexologists who believe that they can fix the people who claim to be asexual, that they can make them normal again. So next time you meet an asexual, question them about their beliefs and try convincing them that what they are is completely made up. It's just something created by a robot as revenge against the human race, and not a valid identity. Thank you for joining this week's episode of The Human Zoo. Join us next week where we discuss pansexuals and why you should keep an eye on your kitchenware around them. Thank you, and have a good night.